Welcome to Bay Sunday. I'm your host, Tracy Humphrey. Today we have two book authors, the founder of the Fruit Guys, and a representative from the San Jose Repertory Theater. Don't forget to like our Facebook fan page at facebook.com/BaySunday, and you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/CBS5SbaySunday, and pitch us story ideas, and don't forget youtube.com/BaySunday. We have so many different websites. We have behind-the-scenes footage and archives of the show, as well as a review of the Sony Internet TV Blu-ray disc player box. Also the iPlunge, a stand for your device that looks just like a plunger, and two cases for iPhones. One is a bottle opener, and another has a built-in keyboard connected by Bluetooth. Joining us first on the show is the author of Spiritual Envy, An Agnostic's Quest, Michael Krasny. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So I want to ask first and foremost, what is an agnostic?
An agnostic is simply one without knowledge. That's literally what it means, one who doesn't have knowledge. And we're talking about knowledge of higher being, knowledge of whether there's a heaven or a hell, knowledge of the sorts of questions that have driven people since the beginning of civilization.
So do you have spiritual envy?
Well, I have envy for people who have knowledge or who have a sense of the consolations of faith, or who have at least a kind of faith or a spirituality that can make them certain or relatively certain that they understand the meaning of life. Yeah, I think there's something very enviable about that.
So how do you handle the holidays? Because that's what the holidays is all about.
Well, the holidays are all about celebration and ritual and all of those things which I'm all in favor of. That's the sort of thing, one of the points I make in the book, that you don't necessarily have to be a believer or fervent about your belief in any way to enjoy the holidays and enjoy ritual and enjoy what you get out of community and all those things that religion or faith provide.
But at some point, I mean, the holiday's not all about that. Do you feel envious of what other people are celebrating during the course of the holiday?
Sometimes I do. I think that people who are connected to the holiday for the real reason, behind the spirit, and that's the real word of the holidays, are to be envied in many instances.
Okay, now you didn't always have spiritual envy. You said when you were younger, as a boy, you were actually you did a lot of, tell me what you did.
Well, I was a fairly strong believer in God. I mean, I was fairly devout and religious, and I think what happened was a couple of things. I wanted to be an intellectual, and I started reading Nietzsche and Spengler and all these philosophers and scientists, and they led me away from religious belief as such. But also, I read Dostoevsky, who had a big effect on me, because as a kid I got kind of batted around by a teacher, pretty brutally in fact, and never told anybody about it. Here I am making a revelation on television. But the fact of the matter was, Dostoevsky said, if a child can be beaten, or traumatized in that way, how can God allow it? And it's a very serious question that a lot of people grapple with, even people of great faith. How can God allow tsunamis and hurricanes and terrible evil and wars and aggression and so forth? And I began to try to penetrate the whole mystery of God and try to understand it. And what agnosticism does, as opposed to a lot of the militant atheism, which is very much a part of our lives now, Christopher Hitchens and Richard Dawkins and people like that, but agnosticism says is essentially, I'm a skeptic, I'm on a quest, I don't know.
So now I have to ask you, education, is it a man's friend or foe? Because it led you away from your religion.
I don't know if there's really an easy answer to that. It depends on the man, depends on the woman. Education can be enormously illuminating, and I believe in education. It leads some people away from God, it leads some people deeper into God. So
do you think that you're on a journey back to God, perhaps?
I don't know. I'm totally open and willing to entertain whatever is presented to me, either intellectually or emotionally, and that's the whole point of this book.
Okay.
Anyways.
You said there's some funny parts in this book. Now, when
I
hear spiritual envy, I don't think funny.
Well, no, but I'm a storyteller, and I like to tell some stories that are funny, including, I write about the paranormal and skepticism and all of those kinds of things, because I think they bring in the whole role of agnosticism, whether you believe in, for example, telekinesis or reading people's minds telepathically. I think, again, we don't know, but there are a lot of anecdotal stories, and there's some stories that are pretty funny.
Okay, we're going to have to read it. Spiritual Envy has been on and off the bestseller list. Thank you for joining us today, Michael. Spiritual Envy, An Agnostic's Quest, is available online and in local bookstores. To find out more information, you can visit www.spiritualenvy.com. We'll be right back.